here at the San Francisco New Living Expo, and this is Homer Castillo.
Hello.
Hi Homer, how are you today?
I'm doing very well.
And I would just like to ask you about your wonderful pyramids that you have created. Do some close-ups here of what exactly is this first one?
Well, this first one is the star pyramid, or the constellation. And this is paying tribute to the people of Pleiades.
Wonderful.
But this is the Earth-centric view of Pleiades.
Okay. And how will this help with the people who are under the structure?
Okay. Well, the healing modality that we use is light activation, and we use frequency. And frequency with copper, it amplifies frequency, and that's what all of these pyramids are made of.
Okay, so the next one I just saw you doing a healing under. What is this one called?
This is the Sun Pyramid.
And I'm getting this really high sun pyramid in the picture here. And
it's also a gateway.
A gateway to?
For beings of light.
And they're going to come here?
They're already here. They're right behind you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I just want to show the inside of this.
And this is the Aquarian Pyramid. This rock is actually from the Great Pyramid of Egypt.
Wow.
And it's on top of the symbol of Orion, honoring the 36 different races of the Orion, Earth-viewed Orion star system.
Wow.
And this is Cebu, which means joy.
And I see all these wonderful symbols that you've included here. And it's just very detailed and very amazing.
Would you like to?
Okay, and we have one more wonderful pyramid.
This is the Moon Pyramid. And here we have an octahedron spinning in the middle. And this is used for healing and manifesting.
Wow.
Manifesting things that you want in your life.
So this will be a popular table.
And this is this has more of the feminine energy and the softer energy too.
Okay. So what is your website, young man?
My website is www.staremissary.com.
Well, we really
appreciate. See you there.
Yep. And these are some wonderful light activation practitioners and teachers. Hello, hello, hello. And we're missing a few. I don't know where they went.
They ascended so high that we can't even see them.
They ascended to the crystal store.
They are actually here, but they are vibrating at such a high speed we cannot see them.
And this is me.
And this is Cindy Eyler.
And light activation.
Yes. And she is wearing white and gold.
How I know who I am.
Yes.
Hi everybody, this is Cindy Eyler, and I'm here today to talk to you about sacred geometry and how it relates to light activation healing system, which is the healing system that I channeled. And although I am, in this lifetime with you, it's actually a very ancient healing modality. So it's really very interesting, and I'm just going to touch briefly on several subjects here, but to give you kind of an intro to sacred geometry and actually how it works with light activation healing. So sacred geometry has been here forever, as long as creation has been, because sacred geometry is truly in everything. You can see it in architecture as far back as the Egyptians with the pyramids, and even beyond that, because there's the flower of life, and the flower of life is basically everything. So you can see sacred geometry in flowers, in fruit, and anything in nature. And that doesn't even go as far as talking about, building sculptures and everything else. And sacred geometry is very, very fascinating once you start really getting into it, but there's so much to learn about it. Some people say that sacred geometry is something that you can learn, but it's more about experiencing it, and I would say I can agree with that. when we talk about sacred geometry, you can see a whole variety of different kinds of shapes that come into view, like the flower of life, the Metatron's cube. There's just so many different varieties when you start adding on elements. But to start with the basics, there are the 5 platonic solids. And so I'll just mention them briefly. And each one of those platonic solids are a shape that will duplicate the same exact shape to make the whole. So for instance, the cube, it's the square shape. And each square that makes up that cube is exactly the same size as are the lines that connect that cube. Each one of those platonic solids also is known to stand for some element. So the octahedron stands for the air element, the cube stands for earth, tetrahedron stands for fire, icosahedron stands for water, and the dodecahedron, the ethers or the universe. These platonic solids can be very useful in using them for certain things. So in light activation, we actually use these different shapes around the body. Well, actually, we can apply them, but also we see them because, like I said, everything is made up of all of these shapes. But when we are working in light activation healing, I was directed to use certain platonic solids or sacred geometry shapes around the body in specific orders or in specific placements. And it's just amazing because when I channeled that information, I really didn't know much about sacred geometry at all. And so I was just trusting what was coming through for me when I would be channeling in the information. And then later when I started learning about sacred geometry, I was amazed at the way that I was instructed to place those geometric figures around the body because it just made so much sense. So studying the platonic solids in sacred geometry has been really interesting because I've also channeled an amazing manifestation class many years ago from Isis, and we use the octahedron specifically for manifesting, and it's just amazing how when you start incorporating these objects or these shapes into using them intentionally for certain things, that it can amplify whatever you're doing and make it completely powerful. I actually have that meditation on my YouTube channel, and so I'll put the link below and you can access that. Now, if you had the class, you would know how amazing and powerful all of that really is. But if you just followed the meditation every day, you could make some huge changes in your life. So anyway, one thing I know is the word sacred. When they talk about sacred and sacred geometry, that is it's so serious, because when you talking about sacred, I guess the way that I feel it, how it works with light activation healing is we actually travel to sacred places or power places or vortex energy places all over the world. And when we do that, we're incorporating those vibrations into us. And then we can use that to enhance our healings. And it also upgrades our energy. And as I'm talking, I can see this amazing blue aura going around me. And I'm not just talking about the color on the wall or the sun coming in. So that's just kind of cool. But anyway, we learn a lot by traveling to Egypt and getting information and learning information and upgrading our energy, or going to Peru and doing the same, or Hawaii or Mexico with the Mayans. Light activation is very ancient based. I think I already mentioned that. And the exciting thing about it is when I teach practitioners to do the healing, well, it's kind of interesting because it's kind of like when you learn algebra. You learn you learn each step of the way. And so, there's a certain protocol. Learn the whole theory, and then you really learn how to be in integrity with the healing and how to deliver it. And then if you decide you want to master your healing abilities even more, and you take the advanced class, like the mastery class, that's your wizardry in your healing starts to come out, because then you learn like these really cool techniques that can just be done like so easy, but super powerful. And then if people really are into it, then they take the teacher's training, because of course when you teach, you learn more, right? That's when you really can master something. And then if people really show a lot of interest as far as they're actually doing the healing sessions and they're participating with us and they're really on the path, like they really take and embrace light activation as a lifestyle, because that's really what it is. Once you really get into it, it's something that you use every day. And you may not sit there and go, okay, I'm just going to do a healing on something. It's just that the techniques are become like everyday things that you can do to just shift your life. And so if somebody is really embracing light activation as their journey, as a part of their life, then they can have the chance to actually do the specialist level. And it's amazing, because that is where you get to learn really the background of light activation in its entirety. You get to really learn where it came from, what it's stemming from, just how powerful it is. And I believe when you really get this knowledge, that your healing abilities can just soar at huge levels. So it all just depends where anybody's at and what they put into it. There aren't a lot of people that really are at the specialist level. I'd only say about 2.5 people, because you really have to be in it to be able to get this information and this wisdom and this knowledge. It's ancient, it's sacred. And just like when Pythagoras, the Greek mathematician who taught in ancient times, when he would teach about sacred geometry and the dodecahedron, which stands for the ethers or the universe, was rarely mentioned because it was so sacred. And it's been told that if somebody was to even mention the word dodecahedron outside of the school, outside of the teachings, that they would be killed immediately. That's how powerful it was. And so when Plato came along later and started talking about the platonic solids and teaching about it, he mentioned the dodecahedron a little bit, but he was very cautious about it and he didn't share too much about it. So that's basically what happens with light activation. I am totally willing to teach people the technique, and I've had lots of people learn levels 1 through 3, which is amazing, is perfect. You can do great healings just doing that. And then part of them actually go to mastery, and that is hugely amazing. But mastery has evolved and changed so much. There aren't a lot of people who have evolved and changed and continued their learning. And just like with anything, if you're a doctor, if you're a dentist, if you're in IT or any other kind of profession, whether it's food or medical or anything, you have to continue to learn, right? You don't just learn it once and then that's it for your lifetime, because things change. And so with us, the people in our universe, our planet is ever changing. So of course things are going to upgrade and change and become more powerful and become much more relevant to what we need to be doing in the current times that we're living. So mastery level has changed quite a bit and has become quite a bit more powerful. And so when people don't continue to do their learning, they really miss out. And really, as far as the specialist level that comes after the teacher training, I really only want to teach that to people who have really shown that they're totally in it, that they're really embracing it as a lifestyle, that they totally get the integrity of this healing system. And it is sort of like with Pythagoras and Plato, how they would teach some things, but then there were other things that they didn't always teach or only taught to certain people. And I believe that's kind of been passed down with this healing modality too, without me really realizing that's what was going on. That's what happened. So we use sacred geometry a lot in the healing system, and when you use sacred geometry for anything, whether you're using it for healing, whether you're using it for manifesting, whether you're using it for intention and intending anything in your life, it puts a much bigger power and boost onto anything that you're using it with, okay? But you've really got to be specific and intend with it and work with it. And every single shape, every single element carries ancient wisdom and knowledge. So you could actually just sit with a shape on a paper, and if you just looked at that for a while, or you colored it in, or you just put it up on your wall, you're getting information, and you may not even realize what that information is, but it's downloading that information to you. And when you are ready for it, when you feel guided to it, you'll just start using it in some way, and you may or may not know that that's what's going on. It's really amazing. So I always suggest if people want to start using sacred geometry, to start working with it. You can get like a book like this, and you know, it has all kinds of different shapes in it, and you can just either just look at this or spend some time with it and use it like mandalas. And really what I like to do is go, okay, I have my book, and today I want to work on intending that whatever I work on will be part of a meditation for me to manifest this in my life, or change that in my life, or bring this to my life, whatever it is, okay? So the other day I actually did one for manifesting. I'll show it to you. So this is the one that I colored the other day. And what I did was I just took out all my pencils, and I was whatever color I was guided to use, that's what I did. And I didn't try to like make it like, oh, well, that has to balance out that. Like, I did my best just to keep my mind out of it and just go with whatever was coming through for that. So I love this book. It's called Geometric Designs Coloring Book by Creative Haven. And because it just has so many things that you could do. And when I picked out which drawing I should color, I basically just opened the book and went to the one that I was guided to do. So yeah, I mean, it's just amazing what you can do. So if you just started doing that, you would already start getting knowledge. And you could, like I said, you could use it to, as you're coloring, to intend some health issue you want resolved, or, you know, to, you know, manifest your soulmate or money or whatever you want. So that's one way you can start. I also have crystals of all the platonic solids, and I use those. I'll hold on to those and meditate with them. And then also we use healing tools with our healing. And a lot of those tools are channeled in from the Atlantean times, so it's really cool. So we also use crystals in our healing. We also have pyramids that we can put over massage tables for to use for our healing events and for healing others. So there's just so many things that we do with sacred geometry, with light activation. It's amazing. You would just have to experience it to know how amazing it really is. That's why I have clients that come to me and then they just keep staying clients, because there's always something that somebody wants to work on, something they want to improve in their life, something they'd like for themselves. And so it's just a way to move through these things faster than just trying to figure it out on your own. And it always feels great to get a healing. Sacred geometry is really magical. It's so powerful. And there's so much to learn about it. Obviously, I can't sit here and teach you a ton about that, but I just wanted to let you know that light activation is an ancient healing modality. And I wanted to read off actually what I teach in all of the different levels, because light activation really brings you back to yourself. It really helps you to remember that you have all these gifts. Anybody can do this. And what I love about this modality is it's for people who are complete beginners that know nothing about healing or nothing about accessing their intuition or their psychic abilities, or people who do have knowledge. I have a lot of like Reiki master teachers even come to take these classes. It works for everyone, but no matter what level you're at, you will reach much higher levels, and it's amazing. So in the first classes, so you take levels 1 through 3 as a grouping. And so first of all, you start out with level 1, and that's the foundations of light activation. So you learn about the background and why people seek healings and the benefits they receive, and the best way to assist people in healing, ascension, and transformation. So that's their evolution, whether it's physical or spiritual, emotional, mental. How to access specific healing frequencies and the theory. Understanding working in multi-dimensions and how it benefits the process. And then we move to level 2, which is accessing sacred geometries. And this is where you really learn your psychic and intuitive abilities, and they start kicking in, and you start learning really how psychic and intuitive you are. People are blown away, no matter what level they're at. You learn self-healings, how to perform healings on others, including plants and animals, body scanning, being able to scan somebody's body and do medical intuition. So really seeing in the body where there's imbalances, where there's something creating discomfort or disease or illness in somebody. So that's really important, that whole body scanning. And yes, you're doing that in the very first classes. This is how advanced and amazing these teachings are. This is not, this healing modality is super accelerated and super advanced. So it's awesome. You learn the body's energetic systems, how they work, what affects them, and how they interconnect and work with and affect each other. So we're getting really in depth here. You're locating and recognizing past lives and karmic issues, utilizing specific sacred geometry shapes in the healing and manifestation process, working with multidimensional energetic fields connecting with universal grids. And this involves both lecture and hands-on training, one-on-one and in small groups to ensure the process is understood. It's really awesome. I just want to name off some of the benefits reported with light activation healing sessions at that level. And this is the basic level. Okay, we haven't even gotten into the advanced levels. This is just the basic level, which this is not basic at all. These are some benefits. Of course, this is not all, but just some. Higher awareness, deeper spiritual connection, expansion of consciousness, heightened intuition and psychic abilities, sense of deep inner peace and harmony, increased energy, vitality, and cellular memory clearing and upgrade, body, mind, and spirit detoxification, Physical healings at many levels and of all types. Resolution of assistance with mental health disorders such as depression, bipolar, and more. Assistance in understanding your personal path and clarity on next steps and achieving your goals. I also work with a lot of clients that come to me with entities or just their energy is so bogged down from their life that they can't see the forest through the trees. And until you can clear all that stuff, it's really hard to get on with your life in a successful way. So, just how people go to the dentist every year, twice a year, and go get a checkup or, get their hair done. You've got to also remember to get your energy cleaned and upgraded, because you are your spirit before you're even a body. Your spirit is eternal. It's infinite. It is something that has always been here and will always be here. But your body will not stay alive or in the most healthy way without having your energy cleaned, replenished, upgraded, anchored in your body. I don't know why people don't understand that actually working on an energy level is way more important than going to the doctor, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. If you need to go to the doctor, go to the doctor. But often the doctor is treating your symptoms and helping you to numb them or just get along. When you work at an energetic level, that is when you can actually heal things all the way. I have had several miracle healings. I had a miracle healing with someone that had Crohn's. She was diagnosed with it, and within 3 weeks, it had completely disappeared. Alopecia, I've had people that have gotten over that needed to get a pacemaker. I worked on them, and they didn't need to get the pacemaker anymore. I'm not promising that I can fix anybody, however, because it depends on the person and how they are willing to accept the work and also participate in the healing. I'm just saying that miracles do happen. So, moving on, the next level is level 3, and that is DNA reactivation. And this is when things get really deep. Once you can work on clearing the body of the stuff that's been gathering, you can get in on a DNA level. And that's when you're working on deep-rooted beliefs that came up through your family line, traumas that happened in your family line, depending on what countries they came from, the things that they had to deal with. Even if you've never been to the country where your family line stemmed from, it would definitely have remnants of issues in your DNA. It's just passed down. That's the way it works. So after you learn the light activation healing technique, you move on to the DNA reactivation technique. And we're working, like I said, on cultural levels, family line, past lives, trauma, and deeper physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual healing. And so we access these DNA frequencies and we work on deeper levels, and the stuff that comes out is amazing. And the thing that I love about it is that when you heal something in you that has to do with your family line that is limiting or damaging, it actually heals it for your whole family line, past, present, and future. It's so amazing. So there are other benefits that come with the DNA reactivation session, and these are not all of them, but I list these, and so I'll read these off. All the benefits I already talked about with the light activation healing sessions. Realization of need to focus on a healthier lifestyle. Increased understanding of life purpose and why you're really here. Release of fear-based emotions and limiting beliefs. Finding resolution in issues such as relationships and partnerships. Higher understandings in areas of difficulty with a sense of objectivity and increased perception. That would help everything in your life, believe me. Resolution and healing and or shifting family conflict, genetic beliefs, illness, and even disease. Decrease or elimination of prescription drugs. partial or complete healing of all types of health issues and dis-ease or disease, ability to access deeper trust, faith, and unconditional love of self and others, increase self-confidence and self-esteem, remembering who you are, and understanding really why you're even here. So it starts getting deeper. And then after that, so that's the basic protocol, levels 1 through 3. And if you knew that, that's amazing and that's great. But when I spoke earlier about really taking your levels of healing abilities, and also it upgrades your life. This isn't about doing healings on other people necessarily. Of course it is. I mean, if you want to do that. But this is more about your journey and your life and upgrading who you are and your understanding and your ascension. I mean, it's just a personal growth thing that is just something you can use to help others, but the personal growth that is priceless for yourself. So then you move up to the light activation healing system mastery level, which is the level 4. And that's when you bring out the master in you. And so some of the things that we address in that level are advanced light activation theory information, advanced clairvoyance training, advanced psychic and intuition training, advanced self-healings and performing them on others, including plants and animals, advanced medical intuition, body scanning, detections, and communicating with the body, in-depth study of interconnectedness of the universe. I mean, this stuff gets really expansive and amazing. Learning about your personal spiritual team, working with the mainframe system and the high technology located in the crystal realms of the inner earth, and how to access and receive that information, understanding multi-dimensions, resolution of repetitious trauma, personal limits, past lives, you know what, planetary and universal bone manipulation, global and cultural healings, spot healings, harmonization and frequency balancing. I mean, it's just like, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, mastery is just this amazing, huge thing. You can go on my website and read more. That's what I'm actually reading to you. I'm reading this from my website, but you can go there and read through this stuff. It's just amazing. I read through it and I'm mind boggled because it's so huge. And I wish for everyone who is somebody who is a healing practitioner, or even somebody that's just finding themselves interested in this knowledge, to get on board and really, join this path, because it's amazing. And so after that, then we go to teacher's training, and that's when you teach how to do levels 1 through 3, but not mastery. And you really, really upgrade your abilities by learning teacher's training, whether you want to teach it or not. It's just an amazing way to learn it even better. And then we move to the specialist level, which is the alchemist level. It's multi and interdimensional ascension alchemy. It's like, wow. So once you've learned all those other things, if you really embrace this as a part of your life journey, you can really go up huge levels. Like, I'm feeling all this energy right now just talking about it. It's just amazing me. And I'm just going to read, I'm going to read the description of this level, because it's just amazing. The alchemist level is deep, ancient, esoteric, and alchemical training that consists of 7 extremely detailed modules. Each module is in-depth and goes beyond any training we are aware of. If you are ready to dive into universes deep and beyond time and space, this could be for you. How powerful is that? This training will change the way you perceive, interpret, align, and connect with your worldly and outer worldly and universe everyday experiences. We wouldn't ever call this a secret society, but we will call it a specialized, extraordinary society that will only be offered to those able to work at these levels. We prefer to keep the details of the modules only available to those who will be participating in this high expertise of training and skill. An acceptance process is necessary, and upon acceptance, you will be given details on module inclusions. The 7-module overview is, and these are what we will go deeply into training on, is light activation Atlantean, light activation ancient Incan, light activation ancient Mayan, light activation ancient Egypt, light activation galactic, light activation sacred geometry, light activation creator. This training includes 8-day course training and additional training, distance training to ensure the concepts, techniques, and culture of the alchemist level. A separate extension training is available for those who wish to take their skill to higher levels. So I know that's a lot that I read off, but it's just wow. And yeah, I mean, if people reach that alchemist level, they're a pretty special person that really is here on a path of the biggest healing for themselves, their family, and helping this universe as a whole, because it's just an outstanding opportunity. So anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about sacred geometry, which is a huge subject, and light activation. And if you want to learn more about light activation, please go to my website at cindyeyler.com and go to the Light Activation Healing System link. There's 2 of those, and there's also a link for light activation courses. So there's 3 links total, and I'm going to put all 3 of those links in the description below if you're interested in looking at that and out. And whether you'd like to get a healing for yourself or really want to jump in and become a practitioner and become part of our community and travel with us to amazing power spots around the world, doing our work and upgrading our knowledge and our abilities it's an amazing group to be with, and the process is always changing and always upgrading and always really exciting. So anyway, that's my talk for today, and I will be back soon to talk about more on light activation and how it can help you and the things that we do. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe below, and if you're not, I'll see you again. And thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you all next time. See you later. Bye.